Welcome to the first Man versus Fat Blue Teams by Never Losing. Today we're talking with Paul, who's a member of the team, and I'm Rob, the host and captain of the Bev Bayern Never Losing football team. Okay, it's with Man versus Fat Bournemouth. We've have 3 seasons. We're into our second season at the moment. We're number 4 in the league. We've had 4 wins and 8 points. So our last match was against the Yellows, Paul, wasn't it? So it
Yes.
was like a 10-3 result, but we won't talk about that. We did beat them, but it's sort of talking about you today, then, Paul. So fire away. Can you give us a little bit of a talk about yourself and interests and hobbies, and go from there?
Yeah. My name is Paul Whittingham. I joined Man versus Fat a couple of months back. Um, to be fair, I'm over what they call middle age. Um, I'm in my 50s now, and one of the reasons why I decided to join Man versus Fat was I knew that I had an issue with my weight, and like all blokes, you think it's not a problem. I can deal with this. Sometimes you need help. And I went through diet fads, I went through all sorts of things. And then Man versus Fat was recommended to me by a work colleague at the time
Yeah,
who told me all about it. He'd never actually been, but he told me all about it.
that's good,
Um,
isn't it?
so I got in contact with Man versus Fat. And to be honest with you, from the first point of contact, it's a really easy process.
Yeah,
Um, I'm not going to lie, like every bloke, I was a bit apprehensive about going.
yeah,
Um, most people kind of have apprehensions like that. However, um, from the first night there, I found everybody nothing apart from friendly, and everybody's in the same boat, which makes it easier. Yeah, and what makes it easier is also every week meeting people and sharing how you've done with your weight
yeah.
loss. And that's one of the things because it just gives you, if you've lost weight, it gives you that spur to go on and carry on doing it. If you haven't lost weight, you can congratulate other people and think, okay, this is what I'm going to change because everybody's got tips that they can give you
Yeah.
to look at what you're doing and change what you're doing. People don't, it's not a case of every man for himself. It's everybody works together as a team.
How have you found actually getting on with the other teams as well then down there?
Yeah, to be honest with you, I have spoken to some of the people from the other teams, and yeah, they've all been very forward with giving advice and this, that, and the other. However, I will say overall, it has been more of the Blues team that I have spoken to. But again, that's just down to me as an individual.
Yeah,
I can't say that nobody's been um, approachable. They've all been approachable.
yeah, because in a few weeks' time, it'll be the end of this season. Then we go into our last season, and then at the end of that season, which is so going to be sometime in the new year, will all the teams will have another change around, and then we'll all be put into different teams. We won't be the blue team anymore, and we'll be having to not get on, but we'll have to be sharing advice and things and seeing how the other teams and the other captains run their teams. So you've got another season and a half with the Blues. And so, how do you feel you've got on so far on the pitch on the Fridays?
On the pitch, well, off the pitch, I'm a youth coach, um, and it's one of those where you with lads of 13, 14 years old and they're running rings around you. Um, I didn't realise quite how unfit I was until I went onto the pitch for the Blues, to be fair. And I think my first couple of weeks, it showed. It really did show. But as I say, everybody has been really positive about it. And in my opinion, I believe that I've come on in the last 2 to 3 weeks. I believe that I'm a different player now. And it's done my confidence no world of good.
Okay, how far away do you have to drive then to go to the football match?
So
Football
I'm
matches on
really
Friday.
lucky. I'm only 20 minutes away from Bournemouth.
Yeah,
Uh, so it's from the where we go for Christchurch. there was when I first applied, they were trying to send me to one at the other side of Southampton.
Oh, goodness me, that
Um,
wouldn't have been good.
yeah, exactly. Which kind of put me off, and it's only when Steve contacted me from the Bournemouth branch and said we have a place here, which was really lucky because I know they don't come up very often.
No, because we got a bit of a waiting list at the moment, haven't we? Because all the 8 teams are full. So yeah, it's a good problem to have, but I guess it's a bad problem for Steve and the others who've got to sort it all out. So have you found the weighing in then with Steve?
Do you know what the weighing-ins? The first couple of weeks, I knew they wouldn't be very good.
Yeah,
The first time you go there and he tells you your weight, it's you come away in disbelief, um, like anybody else. I knew I was overweight. I have been for a while, but then you get your weigh in. He tells you your weight, and then he gives you tips, and you can look on the website as well to get tips on what to do there. It's not just a case of weighing in, playing your game, and going.
yeah.
There's the website, there's the WhatsApp groups, all there to spur you on. And now every week when I go to the weigh-in, I'm looking forward to it. Have I done well? Because I think I've done well, etc., etc. And it just gives you that momentum, if you like, when you have done well. So yeah, the weigh-ins are really good, and particularly if you meet guys from other teams there, because there's always a bit of banter,
Yeah,
which
there is.
I
Yeah.
I love the banter. I think it's one thing that we should be glad of and we should be proud of. The banter between the teams is fantastic.
So I know that you've done some. Have you done actually other programs before in the past, like Weight Watchers or Slimming World and things?
Yeah, yeah. So in the past, I've done Weight Watchers a couple of times, and if I'm going to be honest with you, it did help at the time, but then soon afterwards, you put the weight back on, primarily because the 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 way that they get you to lose weight is by not looking at the calories, but looking at what you're eating, which is great. But then you look at blues and greens and different colors and stuff, and it's like,
Yeah.
hang on a minute. So when you come off the Weight Watchers, it's difficult to do that. So what I've done with Man versus Fat is I've obviously joined Man versus Fat, but I've also got a calorie counter.
Oh
I
yeah.
know some of the guys use MyFitness. I use NutriCheck,
Yeah.
which tells me everything that I'm eating, and I know exactly what I'm putting in my body. So yeah, the Weight Watchers, the Slimming Worlds, they're great for a certain period of time, but once you actually come away from them, I found that it just all came back on because you don't have that you don't have that impetus to just go ahead and say, right, this food is a blue color or a
Yeah.
green color. You come away from that. This takes it back down to basics.
So I know you've been playing a bit on the Fridays, so with us. So what do you think's your best position that you've played on the Fridays? Because we just sometimes put you in defence, midfield. Have you ever gone up to the forward yet?
I've played forward a couple of times.
Yeah.
It's not my best position. I'm not going to lie to you. Even when I used to play football, as when I was younger, forward was never my position. It was always defence or midfield anyway. So I'm quite used to going into them positions. I like it when I'm in the midfield position. I'm not going to lie. But as I say, the forward for me is just that just is not the position for me. I'm just not tall enough.
Oh. I know both of us are around the same age, so the younger lads have got quite a high calorie number to hit. They've got 2,400, where we've got 1,500. I don't know what yours is. It's just quite
Yes.
low. I actually find it quite tricky to stay at that amount because everything is just so high in calories. How do you find that then?
Yeah. So yeah, I'm the same as you, Rob. I'm on 1,500 calories a day. Um, the trouble that I have is I like the foods that I'm not supposed to like. So your
Oh yeah,
breads and stuff like that, which is all calorie dense. So I've just learned how to stay away from them 90% of the time. I'm not going to say all the time because I don't. I think points you do have to give yourself a bit of a treat. Um, so I stay away from bread and stuff like that during the week and pasta. And I normally have a cheat night on a Saturday night or a Sunday night,
Yeah.
and that's it from there on in. The 1,500 calories a day, there are some days when I could do the 1,500 calories by mid-morning.
Yeah, I understand that.
And you just have to be really careful of that and knowledgeable. If you do that, then that's you for the day. So what I try and do is I try and spread it out throughout the day so that I'm getting X amount of calories at this time, X amount of calories at that time. And then also what I've started doing as well is from 8 o'clock at night, I don't eat anything after 8 o'clock at night.
That's part of the Buddhist religion, not to eat after 8 o'clock at night. It's something I don't do. I always eat until the early hours of the morning, but I'm not meant to. So yeah, I'm meant to stop at 8 o'clock. So
Yeah.
yeah, that really does actually help a lot. So do you do any like walking, steps, exercise, running, cycling?
Yeah, so on a normal day, I live in a little village in the forest. So on a normal day, and I take at least one or two walks around the village, which puts me up to 10,000 steps quite easily.
Wow, that's good.
And when I say on a normal day, obviously if work gets involved, I'm sat at a desk most of the time, so I find that really difficult. On a weekend, I try and get out there walking, riding my bike, etc., etc. And my wife and my family are fairly energetic as well. I've got a 14-year-old who wants to play football all the time, and as I say, coaching with the kids helps as well.
But it does, yeah. Is there anything else you want to say, Paul, about man versus fat at the moment that you can think, good, bad, indifferent?
I'd just like, well, to be fair, I've had nothing but positives to say about man versus fat. I'll be truthful with you. All I'll say is if anybody's thinking about it, don't think about it, just do it, because it's either for you or it's not. And if it's not for you, you can walk away. However, yeah, you will make friends from it as getting rid of some body fat. Plus, you'll have fun.
Yeah, that is good fun. Yeah, it's good fun. Is there any last words you want to say before we call this a day at all?
Nope, I think that's about it, Rob. Thanks.
Okay, then. Well, thank you very much, Paul, for coming along to the first Man versus Fat Bournemouth Blues by a Never Losing podcast.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you.
Cheers, Rob.
Thank you.